this clip of Bill Maher talking to the ladies of The View just got me all excited.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but
I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain...
Whoa, cadaver-like. Pretty spicy. Thank you to Cecilia and Sign of Jonah. She said, Presidential Debates 2024 brought to you by Depends. Sign of Jonah, he donated $5 too. He said, John Stossel's a great guest. Thank you, AP. I think maybe there was some confusion, Sign of Jonah. I meant John Stossel's producer, Maxim Lott. Sorry about that if there was any confusion. I could get John Stossel on the show. The only reason I don't is just because he's kind of struggles with live interviews versus taped ones. Because he's always had a speech impediment, and this is very early for him. So and he's getting a little bit up there. So I try and take it easy on those guests and really only use him when it's absolutely necessary for the story. So that's just kind of the reality of the situation as it is. But I love John Stossel too. He's definitely one of the reasons why I'm a libertarian today. But anyways, back to the news here. I really enjoyed Bill Maher going on The View, having this conversation, telling Sonny Hostin to their face what he thought about wokeism and the war in Gaza. Listen to this.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected. Yeah. So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a joke. But,
Too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
Remember last fall when the left were discovering the letter that Osama bin Laden wrote to America about why he did 9/11, and the leftists were kind of like, oh my God, yeah, Osama bin Laden, he's really got a few good points. Oh, and by the way, this is not helping the left. Take a look at this, what I just retweeted here from Christopher Rufo. The pro-Hamas faction is a disaster for the left. The campus protesters, Palestinian Authority, Antifa, and Hamas are 4 out of the 5 least popular institutions in a recent Harvard-Harris poll. Lol. Lol. Favorability of institutions. You can see the U.S. military is up there near the top. Hamas at the absolute bottom. CNN not doing so well, but right around the middle. Black Lives Matter actually comes off better than CNN. The Palestinian Authority, China, Antifa. China is more popular than Antifa. Hamas. Very favorable to unfavorable. U.S. military, police, FBI. What's wrong with people? FBI should be down here. Facebook, people are still liking Facebook. You know what the truth is that most people aren't really liking most of anything, because here's 42%, 40 to 41% right there. This is the Harvard Caps Harris poll. Israel more popular than the Supreme Court, Department of Justice, and Fox News. This is, again, a Harvard Harris poll there. So, so Bill Maher nailing it. Let's continue.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because I think you're almost a free speech absolutist. You believe totally in the right to say what you believe. But I think a lot of us were disturbed to see terrorist flags being waved on American college campuses and seeing this a generation that some I think genuinely care about the plight of the Palestinians. I think most Americans do. But some who seem to be embracing a terrorist organization over the nation of Israel. What do you make of this moment? What do you think it's a result of? How do we fix it?
Well, I mean, it's just astounding to me that they can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. I mean, just morally. I mean, let me tell you, if you're for Hamas, just live in Gaza for a day. And I'm not talking about while the war is on. I mean, before the war. Trust me, you would go running and screaming and begging to live in Tel Aviv. Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable that he has to actually explain this to people, that you don't know this. But again, when are people learning this in school? As much as I learned about history, and I learned a lot, and about civics and politics and news, you didn't learn a lot about the Middle East when I was in school. But it wasn't as important. 9/11 hadn't happened until I was in college. So I wonder if high school curriculum these days, social studies, is teaching more about the Middle East, obviously, because 9/11 is now part of history. I'd be curious, if you're a young person watching the Wake Up America show now, did you learn about Iraq and Afghanistan and 9/11 in your history classes? I would be curious to hear a little bit more about your curriculum, because obviously mine was different. I graduated in 1999.
A place that has your values. I mean, women have this is a show watched by a lot of women. Women have no rights in this place, and a lot of majority Muslim countries around the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is no equal rights as far as speech, dress, opportunities for education, reproductive rights, freedom from sexual violence, freedom from sexual harassment.
The LGBTQ community. Yes.
You that too. But you throw around the term apartheid. Mm. There is a gender apartheid in a lot of the world, where women are second-class citizens, at best.
Are you at all concerned about the innocent civilians that have been collectively punished and murdered?
The libertarians need to listen to this part.
Well,
children and women. And are you at all concerned about the fact that the International Criminal Court just today issued a subpoena for Bibi Netanyahu?
Well, that's ridiculous, but it's a war.
Why?
It's a war. Because it's a war, and they were attacked, and they're defending themselves. Now, this is a war. Do you think Hamas needs to be destroyed? This is the question.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So how can we get that with a ceasefire?
All right. So Hamas needs to be destroyed because they are a terrorist organization who say openly that they want to commit genocide on the Jewish people, on the state of Israel. That's what from the river to the sea means, okay? And they say it very openly. They said, we did this attack. They've attacked Israel 5 times. They've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community, and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli... Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
And stop calling for the annihilation of Israel and all the Jews. They're calling for the annihilation of the Jews. And so you can't really defend that on the other side very easily.
But before we go, I want to say...
No, we're not going anywhere yet.
Okay, but I just want to say one thing, because we were talking in the break.
Yeah.
Joy is a wonderful human being, and she should not be afraid that people are going to attack her because she said that thing about the swastika on the cap.
Well,
she does not think that all as you said to me in the break, you do not think that all the people who are for Trump are Nazis.
No, I don't.
You don't.
I just want them to pay attention to words like vermin and poisoning the blood and the Third Reich. That's all. That's really what I'm asking.
They see Trump as a comedian. They see him as a clown who says crazy things.
They saw Hitler like that.
Right, okay, but that doesn't mean, you can hate Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It is half the country.
I have some in my family. I don't think they're Nazis.
Okay, great.
He probably, good job, Bill. Well done. She probably did not like